Zhetian Tongren essay, no CP. A cruel person dreams for 3,000 years, 3,000 years in the mundane world, and one person wakes up as if an old friend has come, without the influence of time in the mortal world. The 3-year-old doll looked at the direction of the feather god and said, "In the future, the girl's name will be Broken Feather. Chow da. The only one who can make me willing to search for the 9 secrets is the little girl. Big black dog. I'm covering up the little girl. Who dares to touch her? I'll bite you to death." Keywords of the novel. Covering the sky. A ruthless girl with the assets of the great emperor, no pop-ups, covering the sky. A ruthless girl with the assets of the great emperor, complete download of TXT, covering the sky. A ruthless girl with the assets of the great emperor, latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Young Master Kills You. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Young Master Kills You. Yen State. The 4-year-old girl's clothes were patched, and her eyes were crying red as she ran. How about taking the girl along? She needs to be with her brother. The 2 young men in front were dressed in feathered imperial costumes, holding a delicate young man in their hands. The young man saw the girl catching up and quickly shouted, "Girl, go back quickly. When my brother cultivates into an immortal, he will come back to find you. You need to take good care of yourself." Before he could finish speaking, the girl was kicked away by the boy who was holding him. "Get lost. You deserve to touch my hem too." A 3 or 4-year-old girl was kicked out. Bang! The little girl fell far away, her hair was messy, her face was scratched, and her clothes were torn. But she still stood up with her small mouth clenched, her gaze fixed on her brother who had been taken away in the distance, and with a sob, she chased after him again. "Brother, don't leave the girl alone." The young man seemed to have not heard his words and had already fainted with his head hanging down. The girl chased and shouted, and one of the young people turned around and came back. The little girl quickly flipped her short legs and met her. "Can you also take the girl away? She doesn't want to be separated from her brother." With a crying voice falling, he kicked towards me again. Ah! Her body took off and flew backwards again. "It hurts so much, brother." "Girl hurts so much, girl wants brother." "Damn girl, you are just a mortal body that cannot be cultivated. If you have a special physique, I will take you away. But you're just a useless person. I'm in charge of affairs at the Feather God Dynasty. If you dare to pester me again, I'll kill you." A foot fell from the injured little face of the girl. That foot was stepping so hard, her face and head were hurting, but she still spoke up, "Please, take the girl with you. She can help with the work. As long as she is with her brother, she can do anything." The young man laughed at the little girl's words and ran over her feet, but he didn't let go when he heard her moaning in pain. "You ordinary little girl with such poor qualifications, I feel like a burden with you. It's better to kill you to prevent future troubles," he said and kicked the little girl on the forehead. The girl's heart contracted for a moment as she watched the young man's foot kick towards her, causing the little one to close their eyes in fear. Suddenly, I felt the wind coming, accompanied by shouting. "Stop, stop, stop, you big black dog, stop for me." The huge black dog rushed towards the boy and knocked him over directly. The big black dog had a huge size and knocked the girl on the ground aside, then fled. The chubby Taoist was agile in body shape and quickly chased after him, stopping as he passed by the girl. "Ha! This ghost mask. This is mine, it was given to me by my brother." The ghost mask and the bronze ring in her hand were given to the girl by her brother. Just now, the ghost mask fell out of the girl's arms. She quickly held the ghost mask in her arms and looked at the chubby Taoist with caution. The chubby Taoist was attracted by the ghost mask and his gaze fell on the little girl. The injury on the girl's face added another patch, as if she didn't realize it, she hugged her ghost face mask tightly. watching the chubby Taoist smile at her. Little girl, what's your name? My name is Nan Nan. The chubby Taoist's face smiled like a bun. The heavenly Lord Wuliang, isn't she? Can you show me your mask, Taoist? The girl remained silent and turned her head to look at the young man standing up from the ground. The young man strode forward and kicked the chubby Taoist with one foot. Fatty guy, you're blind. Walking your dog without tying the rope, your dog bumped into the young master. What do you think to do? The little girl shrank and then looked in front of her, smiling like a chubby face with a white face and no wrinkles at all. Seems very angry as he looks at the young man across from him. Lift up the chubby hand and slap the young man. The girl was stunned by this change. As the chubby Taoist slapped and cursed, he said. Wuliang, you heavenly sovereign, dare to pretend to be a young master in front of the old Taoist. Who is your master? Watching the young man being beaten by the old Taoist with no fighting power, the girl's mouth widened in surprise. The young man who was still arrogant just now has been beaten into a pig's head. Get lost. Finally, with a loud shout from the chubby Taoist, the young man let go of his harsh words. You chubby guy dares to interfere with the affairs of the Feather God dynasty. Wait for me. Wow. What's so remarkable about the Feathered God dynasty? I'll dig your ancestors' graves when I turn around, Dao Yi. Watching the person run away, the little girl was stunned for a moment and reacted. She quickly ran after her with her short legs. Don't leave, take the girl with you. The girl should be with her brother. The chubby Taoist saw the little girl running away and quickly chased after her. Little girl, why are you running? That kid hit you just now, my dog saw it. The girl looked up at the chubby Taoist, and the eyes of the big black grape were filled with a mist of water. They took their brother away, and the girl also wanted to follow them. They say that girls are ordinary people who cannot practice, they don't want girls, girls want brothers, and girls only have one relative, brother. Ah! She ran too quickly and fell on the ground in a somersault. The small hand, which had already been scratched, was once again covered in bloodstains. She didn't cry out for pain, got up and continued to chase. The chubby Taoist grabbed his hair and watched as those people rode away with rainbow lights. Don't chase after them. You're immortal, they're cultivators. Look at them all flying away, you can't catch up with them. What should I do? I want to find my brother. The girl looked up at the chubby Taoist, tears like broken pearls rolling down one by one. The chubby Taoist glanced at the bronze ghost mask in her arms, grabbed her hair, and said. How about this? Give me your mask and I'll take you to find your brother, okay? Not good. The mask was given to the girl by my brother, and she didn't give it to anyone. The girl tightly protected the bronze mask in her arms, which her brother had left for her. He had said he would come back and she would wait for him to come back. Wang. Stinky Taoist, your heart is really dark, even grabbing children's toys. The big black dog ran back from somewhere. Chow De gave it a white eye. I, Chow De, am walking outside and talking about the character, De. I never force others to do anything difficult. Humph, I just want to help the little girl solve her problems. What do you know, you big black dog? The little girl listened to him talking to the dog, turned around and ran with a mask in her arms. Watching her chase towards the direction of the young man riding the rainbow. The chubby Taoist saw this and kicked the big black dog away to chase after him in 2 steps. The little girl saw him chasing after her again and looked at him strangely. Chow De, the chubby Taoist, smiled like a chubby bun. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Takes you to find your brother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 takes you to find your brother. Are you looking for your brother, little girl? Why don't I help you find your brother? Can you give me your mask? Upon hearing him say this, the girl stopped and tilted her head to look at him, shaking her head, can you help me find my brother? Here's my mask for you, take a look. The girl stretched out a finger, her small face covered in scars, and looked at the chubby Taoist seriously. The chubby Taoist habitually comes out of his mouth, 2 eyes. Deal. The little girl's voice was clear and decisive, and the chubby Taoist rolled his eyes silently. Why is he just having a cheap, bald mouth? He should have come directly. Hey, he'll remember next time. Let's go then, I'll take you to find the people of the Feather God dynasty. Wong Wong. Stinky Taoist, why don't you go dig graves and turn helping others into a pleasure? You have such kindness. The name of the Black Emperor is written upside down. The chubby Taoist flew up with the little girl and chased after the cultivator from the Feathered God dynasty before. Don't listen to that dog's nonsense, girl. Master, I love helping others the most. The girl flew up to such a high sky for the first time, and her face turned pale with fear, tightly gripping the corner of the chubby Taoist's clothes. Looking down, wanting to see my brother's figure. There, I saw my brother being taken onto that spaceship. That is a huge spaceship, parked in the distance. The chubby Taoist flew down with the little girl and was immediately driven away upon landing. The Feather God dynasty is handling affairs, please avoid idle people. My brother is up there, I need to find him. The young men of the Feathered God dynasty stood tall and white like snow, standing in front of a big and small dog, with a proud posture as they looked at them. His tone was contemptuous, with his nostrils facing upwards, and he continued to repeat the sentence just now. The Feather God dynasty is handling affairs, please avoid idle people. Hey! The Taoist is so hot-tempered, Black Emperor, bite him. The big black dog made a gurgling sound in its throat, with an attacking posture, as it was about to pounce and bite at the young man. At this moment, the spaceship slowly took off and flew away in front of them. On the spaceship stood the young man who had just been beaten by Chowda. Before leaving, the young man shouted to the young man standing in front of the girl. Senior brother, they just hit me and helped me kill them. The young man standing in front of the girl didn't speak, but nodded lightly and then looked at Chowda and the little girl. His gaze fell on the girl and he glanced. A mortal body with extremely poor qualifications is destined to be a waste that cannot be cultivated. I want to find my brother, can I go with him? The little girl looked at the spaceship and finished speaking, then lifted her foot to keep up and was kicked by the young man. The big black dog barked and rushed forward, biting the leg that the boy was about to kick. Ah! Dead dog, let go of me. The boy's face twisted with pain as he watched the chubby Taoist chasing the spaceship with his little girl. He raised his hand and punched the big black dog that was biting his leg tightly. The dog's skin is as hard as iron, and a punch is like tickling. The big black dog saw the chubby Taoist leading away, lifted its front paw and slapped the young man with a paw, directly knocking him unconscious. Woo! With a loud cry, he chased after Chowda and the little girl. Chowda and his little girl followed the spaceship to an altar, where there was a huge copper cauldron surrounded by people dressed in feathered divine costumes. Is my brother inside? Chowda had a bad premonition and his face became serious. Little girl, there are many experts from the Divine Bridge realm here. I'll catch their attention later, and you can go find your brother. Okay. The girl will definitely find her brother. A small person, although her clothes are patched and her shoes show holes, the girl's big eyes are full of determination. This is her only chance, she must find her brother. At this time, the girl still doesn't know what the Divine Bridge realm is. The cultivation of cultivators here is divided into 5 major secret realms, which are Luanhai Secret Realm, Daogong Secret Realm, Siji Secret Realm, Hualong Secret Realm, Sendai Secret Realm. The Luanhai Secret Realm is divided into 4 small realms. The Bitter Sea, the Life Spring, the Divine Bridge, and the Other Shore. The secret realm of the Tao Palace is divided into 5 realms. Heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys, which are the 5 divine and hidden realms. And as a small mortal, if she wants to find her brother, she has to face the realm of the bitter sea and the realm of the life spring cultivators. Even with the help of Chowda, a chubby Taoist who suddenly appeared, it was difficult for her to run to the altar. Brother! Hey! Birds of the feathered god dynasty, let the Taoist see what kind of immoral thing you are doing. The roar of the chubby Taoist indeed caught everyone's attention. Those people, seeing someone daring to provoke them like this, immediately turned black and charged towards the chubby Taoist. The people below the altar are going to deal with Chowda. The little girl immediately ran towards the altar in front of her. Brother, we need to go save him. But she was still stopped by someone, watching helplessly as her dizzy brother was thrown into the huge copper cauldron in the middle of the altar. Brother! Don't, let go of me, brother. The dead girl even chased after us here and dared to break into the altar of our feather god dynasty, seeking death. The young man was the one who had wanted to kick the little girl to death before, but now when he saw the girl, he ran over again. Take a few steps forward and stop in front of the girl, then raise your hand and slap the little girl. Woo! It was the black dog again, flying up and biting the young man's arm in one breath. Ah! The young man let out a scream and his arm was bitten off. The girl walked away with her short legs and ran quickly towards the altar. Brother! With a bang, the little girl's body was kicked out. The young man who had been bitten on his calf by a dog before rushed over. His leg, which had been bitten open by the dog, was bleeding profusely. At this moment, he kicked the little girl who was going to obstruct them. Finally, she was not allowed to interfere with the sacrifice. The girl was kicked out and ignored the pain on her body. She got up again and ran towards the altar. My brother was thrown into the cauldron, and she wants to go and save him. The girl who got up and ran over was kicked out again. It hurts so much on my body. I can't cry, girl doesn't cry. She struggled up again, she wanted to save her brother, he couldn't have anything to do. She got up again and rushed up, bang. She was also kicked out again, and this time it took her longer than before to get up. Her already torn clothes were even more torn. The wound on his face was bleeding, and his small hands were covered in scars. She wants to get up. She wants to save her brother. The boy with a torn leg stood in place with a playful expression, looking at the little girl who looked like a rag doll. What a tenacious person. They can still struggle to stand up even if they don't die like this. You are truly beyond your means. You are just a mortal, opposing our feathered god dynasty. The only outcome is death. Even if she dies, the girl will also die with her brother. The girl said as she moved her painful body towards the altar again. Ha! There are people with special constitutions. Your mortal body doesn't even have the qualification to approach the altar, the young man said, once again extending his leg that had been bitten by the dog. He accumulated all his spiritual energy and kicked the little girl in front of him. Woo! The big black dog ran out again and bit the young man's leg with a whimper. The cultivator of the Tang Minquan realm was actually bitten by a dog again. He was so angry that he went crazy and killed the black dog. The girl glanced at the black dog and ran quickly towards the altar. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. No, no. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. No, however, she still did not approach the altar this time, and a powerful divine power swept down from the altar, instantly lifting the running girl upside down and flying out. She had not yet landed when the chubby Taoist caught her and turned around to hold her, running towards the distance. Run quickly, that's the powerhouse of the Daogong's secret realm. Infinite Heavenly Sovereign, this is the scene where the Feather Transformation Divine Dynasty committed immoral acts. Brother, don't be my brother, little girl. You are too weak. You can't save your brother like this. If you want to save your brother, you have to become stronger, otherwise even you will get involved. Who will save your brother and who can save you? The girl was held in the arms of the chubby Taoist, revealing half of her head as she watched the person being chased by the feathered god dynasty behind her. She needs to become stronger if she wants to save her brother. Yes. She wants to become stronger, she wants to save her brother, she wants to become stronger. Fat Taoist, you're right. I want to become stronger, but how can I become stronger? To become stronger, one must cultivate. Before Chowda could finish speaking, a towering divine power came towards him from behind. The startled chubby Taoist ran quickly holding the little girl in his arms. Dead dog, please help block it. Black Emperor let out a growl, running faster than him. You dead dog. The big black dog barked twice and placed a pattern in front of him. The chubby Taoist carried the girl into the pattern and crossed the void. I dodged the pursuit of the feathered god dynasty cultivator behind me. Black Emperor, you dead dog actually sent us to the tomb of the heavenly feather sage in the feather god dynasty. Wang. Didn't you say you were going to dig their ancestral graves? Okay, you did a great job. The girl was put down by the chubby Taoist and looked around. What she wanted to do most in her heart now was to cultivate. How can she cultivate? Blinking his big eyes, he looked at the chubby Taoist. The chubby Taoist did not receive the little girl's mask, but instead provoked the feather god dynasty. Roll your eyes impatiently. How about I teach you how to cultivate? The girl's eyes lit up, and as soon as she nodded, she heard the chubby Taoist shake her head and say, No, your body is just a mortal. It's difficult to cultivate the wheel of life and open up a sea of suffering. It's almost impossible. Nan doesn't want to give up, she wants to become stronger, she wants to save her brother. I can do it, can you teach me? I will definitely work hard to cultivate. Chowda frowned, and the big black dog helped to provoke him on the side. Stinky Taoist, do you not even know how to teach the little girl how to cultivate besides robbing tombs? Glancing angrily at the big black dog. What do you know? She's just an ordinary person and can't do it at all. Forget it, just teach. If you can't learn, don't blame me. The little girl looked at the chubby Taoist with an expectant expression on her face. Listen carefully to him. Everyone has a wheel of life below their navel, and practicing here is to open up a bitter sea that can accommodate spiritual energy. Can you try first? The little girl was confused and understood. After listening to his words, she began to sit aside and practice in a dignified manner. The big black dog transmits the message to Chowda. Are you fat? You're even darker than me, Black Emperor. Is it interesting to deceive other girls? Chowda looked at the little girl who was meditating and delivered a message to Black Emperor Fan Bai Yen. What do you black dog know? You think she has a mortal physique, and the wheel of life in the dantian below her navel is silent. If you want to open up a bitter sea, you can't do it yourself. Can she cultivate it? I just can't lie to her. I thought you had some ancient secret technique. The big black dog disdains it. Chowda rolled his eyes and got up to walk inside. Since I'm here, I can't come for nothing. I still have to go back to my old job. The big black dog followed him with bright eyes, walking deep into the cemetery. The injured little face of the girl who was sitting still wrinkled into a bun. Effortlessly holding his small mouth, looking very forceful. If you change positions, it may be smoother. After a moment, her stomach began to growl. Don't be hungry, girls need to cultivate and become stronger, don't cry. Goo goo, goo goo. Xiaodu didn't agree and wished to sing her a song about the empty city plan. The owner of the belly looked conflicted and reached out his little hand to cover it, smacking his mouth. Take a deep breath and continue to hold it. The belly is not hungry, the girl needs to cultivate. The little girl who tried to close her eyes couldn't help but open her eyes amidst the strong cry from her belly. The girl is so hungry, she stood up and looked around at the cave-like places, occasionally with a gloomy wind blowing by. Big dog. Fat Taoist, where are you? The voice of the little girl echoed in the open cave, and no one answered her. She supported the stone wall step by step and walked forward. Above the front stone wall, dim lights faintly poked. In the dark stone path, the girl walked forward step by step when suddenly her hand pressed against a protrusion, feeling a bit soft. The blood on the small hand has dried up, so I lightly pressed it. The next moment, her tiny figure fell into the stone wall. Ah! After she reappeared, she saw a stone coffin in front of her, surrounded by densely patterned paths. The girl was a bit scared and didn't dare to move even when she was stuck on the wall. Suddenly, she remembered what the chubby Taoist had said, "This is the tomb of the heavenly feather sage in the feather transformation god dynasty. Keep your courage up and walk forward, with only scars on your small face being serious and restrained." Walking forward with a firm expression on his face while holding his mouth. Surprisingly, it made her cross those lines and come to the stone coffin. Reaching out to touch the stone coffin, a hint of coolness passed into my hand. At this moment, she only thought that the sarcophagus was made of stone, not knowing that it was actually carved from a few or hundreds of spiritual sources. At this moment, Chowda and the Black Emperor finally broke through their lines and walked in. Wow, what a big spiritual stone coffin. Oh my god, the Taoist has become rich. Woo woof. It's better for the big black dog to rush over and take action first without saying a word. Dead dog, you're grabbing again. We'll definitely go our separate ways after this one. Ha! Little girl, why are you here? The girl looked at each person and dog, and said awkwardly. The girl was hungry, so she came out to find something to eat, and then she came in here. Chowda and the Black Emperor exchanged a glance. So they were beating and killing outside just now, and they had to work hard to break through the veins before coming in. Why? Is it because they are strong or because they are not lucky enough? The Black Emperor didn't care about that. He pushed open the lid of the stone coffin and took it away. Dead dog, the coffin lid belongs to you, and the coffin board belongs to me. Wang. No way. A person and a dog started arguing again, and the girl saw an old man inside the coffin, looking so old. The old man was holding a jade clean bottle in both hands. The girl was so hungry, with her small body gripping the coffin board, she struggled to reach out and hold the jade clean bottle in her hand. Leaned under my nose and sniffed. It smells so good. Don't do it. Wang, don't drink. It's late, the girl's belly is too hungry. The things in this bottle are so fragrant that it makes her stomach even more hungry. Just as one person and one dog were making noise to stop her, she had already poured the contents of the bottle into her mouth. Touch your little belly, the girl is not hungry anymore. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Black Holes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Black Holes. One person and one dog couldn't help but cover their eyes when they saw that she had already drunk the contents of the jade bottle. The big black dog covered its eyes with its two paws, but perked up its ears to listen. I thought there would be a situation where the little girl was blown up, but after waiting for a while, I didn't hear the sound of the explosion. Put down one paw and open a dog's eye to look over. Ha! Surprisingly, it didn't explode. Even Chowda opened his eyes and looked at the little girl. No wonder they all knew that what was carried in the jade bottle was definitely not an ordinary thing. This little girl is just an ordinary person. She drank the nectar from the jade bottle and didn't do anything. It's abnormal for one person and one dog to glance at each other. How do you feel, little girl? The girl's eyes were bewildered, and she felt a refreshing sensation enter her body, instantly affecting his limbs and bones. It seems that every acupoint on the body is incredibly comfortable. Suddenly, her stomach was hurting a lot. Fat Taoist uncle, the girl wants to pull a baba. Chowda. Dead dog, you have something to eat. Woo. As expected, He was immediately bitten on the arm by a big black dog after saying these words. "The dead dog is biting me again, why don't you go grab the coffin?" Woo! The big black dog barked and rushed towards the coffin. Chowda also rushed over, and suddenly, one person and one dog were surprised to find out. The body that was originally lying inside the coffin was gone, and the two of them instantly had their dog hair on end. A feeling of extreme danger made their hair stand on end. One person and one dog looked back at the same time, and behind them stood a man in white clothes at some point. Woo! The big dog spat out a small bell, buzz. With a loud sound, the white-clad cultivator slapped and collided with the black and yellow little clock. At the same time, Chowda also took out a broken bowl and headed towards the man in white. With a loud bang, the broken bowl hit the man in white. The violent wave of spiritual collision erupted and shook the white man upside down. Then, lying still on the ground. Wang! The Black Emperor turned around and grabbed the coffin with his two paws, about to put it away. Chowda cursed angrily. "You are the greedy black dog. You have taken the coffin board, and this coffin belongs to me. You are an immoral Taoist who has been plagued for thousands of years and is still far from death. You don't need this coffin, I'll help you keep it for now." No way, a person and a dog were arguing over the coffin, and the little girl holding a jade bottle walked step by step to the side of the man in white. The clothes this person is wearing are the same as those of the feathered gods who took his brother away. They are all in the same group. The girl squatted beside the man in white, and suddenly, the man in white pretended to be a corpse and sat up, pinching the girl's neck. The girl's little hand grabbed the hand that was gripping her neck, struggling with all her might, but his strength was too weak. No way. She still has her brother to save, she can't die. The big black dog sensed the commotion here and turned to bark towards it. The body of the man in white was shaken upside down by the sound of the hay. After being saved, the girl was panting heavily, tears streaming in her eyes. With a pursed mouth, he stood up and rushed to the white-clothed corpse, then bit it with a whimper. "What are you doing, girl?" The little person's eyes were filled with hatred at this moment. She hates it. She hates the people of the Feather King dynasty. Why does she hate herself for being so weak? She wants to become stronger. She's going to bite this person to death. Suddenly, the girl's big eyes flashed with confusion. There is a strange force inside the man in white. The little girl's gaze instantly turned fierce and fierce. With his power, he had no power to eat himself. The small mouth that bit the other person's body exerted even more force. She is trying to absorb the strength of the other person's body. You want to strangle the girl, she wants to kill you. She tried hard to absorb that force into her body. Suddenly, her big washed eyes lit up. Her sea of suffering is moving. That is a black hole in the vast Milky Way, as if it is about to devour everything. Devouring. Yes. The girl wants to devour the power of this villain, so that he will never dare to pinch her again. Give the girl the strength to save her brother. What is the situation? The chubby Taoist approached the girl and watched in shock as the white-clothed corpse turned into dry bones and powder. His mouth was wide open, as if he could fit an ostrich egg. He looked at the little girl in front of him with a frightened expression. De Hay also walked over to discover the situation here and let out a scream of surprise. Oh! This little girl won't be starving and gnawing on the body, will she? Mom! Too ruthless. The chubby Taoist lifted his chin and closed his mouth, swallowing a mouthful of saliva. He was really surprised. Use your divine power to see the little girl's ocean of suffering again. There is already like a black hole. There was no brilliant brilliance, only darkness. Suddenly, he was a bit shaken and quickly withdrew his divine soul. Taking 3 steps back in surprise, he said. What a powerful devouring power. Isn't this little girl ordinary? How could there be such a strong force? Is it any special physique, Wang? It's impossible. If it were a special physique, it would have been captured by the people of the Feathered God dynasty long ago. Hear the 4 words Yuhua Shen Chao. The little girl's gaze finally became focused, and her clear and bright expression returned to look at the big black dog. Although his gaze remained as clear and pure as before, it made the big black dog take a step back. Wang. Good girl, dog meat doesn't taste good. The expressionless little face of the girl burst into a smile, with a brilliant radiance, like starlight. The girl stood up and bowed to Chao De and the Black Emperor. Thank you, Uncle Pang and the dog, for saving the girl. She will definitely repay you in the future. The girl swore to become stronger and save her brother in the future. Uncle Pang, will you continue to teach the girl how to cultivate? Chao Dezhang opened his mouth, feeling that he might not be able to teach this little girl. I have never heard of any sect or school that devours the power of others to cultivate. Wang. Don't beg that chubby guy, I'll teach you. My Black Emperor is a very powerful presence, but now he is weak. When I recover, I will sweep through the 4 harmonies and 8 wildernesses, and fight invincible all over the world. Chao De opened the big black dog. Go ahead, why do you join in the fun with your dog? I'll still teach the little girl, but she's a bit strange now. Let's slowly explore. Do you have a name, girl? The girl frowned and tilted her head for a moment. In the past, girls were called Nan Nan, and from now on, their name will be Sueyu. Hush. Broken feather. Alright, with ambition. Wang, that's a good name. When the girl becomes more powerful, she can smash her feathered divine dynasty with one palm. The words of Big Black Dog went to the heart of the girl. The dog is right. When the girl becomes strong, she will overthrow the Huayu divine dynasty with one palm. The chubby Taoist coughed lightly and pulled the person and dog back to reality. I said you too, don't imagine the future for now. We're going out right now, still within the territory of the Feather God dynasty. Dead dog, please weave a pattern and let's teleport to another place for cultivation. It's not too late for the little girl to come back and seek revenge by avoiding her sharpness first. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Wrong transmission, come again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Wrong transmission, come again. The big black dog laid a pattern and left the tomb with the chubby Taoist and little girl. Just when they came out again, they came to the vicinity of Danding Cave. Coincidentally, I met several cultivators from the Feathered God dynasty, and those cultivators rushed up when they saw them. It's the one person, one dog, and the little one, catch them. Wuliang his mother, will you deliver the dead dog? The big black dog is also depressed. I didn't expect to teleport to the wrong place. With your cultivation, it's not easy to deal with these people. Kill it, don't let them pass the message back. No need for him to say, Chao De has already taken action. A destructive force struck at the cultivators of the Feathered God dynasty, instantly turning their bodies into blood mist. Dead dog, don't make a mistake in portraying your Dao pattern this time. Black Emperor let out a roar. Lay the pattern again and start transmitting. This time they came out again, surrounded by towering trees, and could still faintly hear the roar of fierce beasts. Wuliang Heavenly Sovereign, you have actually brought us to the ancient ruins. The Black Emperor also said a word. Infinite without beginning, my coordinates are clearly correct, how could I still make a mistake? But it's okay, this place is very far from the Feather God dynasty, so there's no need to worry about being chased by the cultivators of the Feather God dynasty. Little girl can practice here, Wang. After Black Emperor finished speaking with a loud roar, he rushed towards the forest outside the ancient ruins. Not long after, he returned with a strange beast in his mouth and threw it in front of Chao De. Fatty guy, get the little girl to eat. The little girl looked at the huge beast in front of her and opened her mouth in surprise. Black Grape's big eyes blinked and looked at Chao De. Chowda looked at her, then at the huge beast body, which could be as big as hundreds of little girls. Fat uncle, the girl is so hungry. You call the girl will do it. Chowda scratched his head with his big hand and handed a dagger to the girl, saying, "Here, this bronze dagger is for you. I'll teach you how to dismember this wild beast." Little girl, haven't you shown me your mask yet?" The girl tilted her head to look at him, thinking that he shouldn't be a bad person. Then he took out the mask and showed it to him. "You can only watch, but you can't snatch a girl's mask. This is what my brother left for the girl." Speaking of her brother and little girl, she feels sad again. "Okay, I'll just take a look, it's not even enough to grab a child's belongings." Looking at the ghost face mask held by the little girl's hands, Chowda felt more familiar as he looked at it. His head hurts a bit, as if he remembers something, but also as if he can't remember anything. A mysterious feeling made him feel both familiar and fearful. Wow! It's really a ghost mask. How do I remember if I've seen it somewhere before? Upon hearing what he said, Chowda immediately questioned. "Is that right? I also feel familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen it before. It's really strange. Wow! It's a dog's life. This mask is so familiar and unfamiliar." The big black dog shook its head. "I don't know, if I can't figure it out, I'll go kill the wild beast, Wang." Chowda taught the girl to use a dagger to kill wild beasts. Looking at the wild beasts piled up like mountains in front of him, Chowda's face turned black. "Dead dog, stop me quickly. You've hunted so many wild beasts. When will you finish eating them?" The big black dog bit Chowda's arm with one bite. "Wang, are you stupid? Can the little girl devour the power of the corpse, but can't she devour the power of the wild beast?" Chowda was right when he thought about it. He turned his head to look at the little girl and found that she had already bitten onto the corpse of the wild beast. Like a long whale sucking water, it draws the power of that monster into its body. Chowda opened his mouth in surprise. What kind of cultivation is this? The big black dog didn't know, it had lived for so many years and had never seen this kind of cultivation. Shouldn't she have created it herself? How could it be? She's at most 3 years old, okay. You told me she created it herself. Zhetian never believed it, but Big Black Dog felt even more so. Watching the little girl's eyes shining. If such a little girl grew up, wouldn't she be more powerful than the heavenly pride in various holy places? The little girl doesn't know these things, she just wants stronger strength. Since the people in the Feather God dynasty took out their purpose and absorbed the power of the corpse, she felt like she was full of strength. Just now, she looked at the wild beast in front of her and thought that she could absorb the power of the corpse. Can she also absorb the power of this wild beast? She didn't know that her idea was to create new techniques, she just wanted to do it and went ahead. The power of the wild beast was constantly absorbed by her, and the whole wild beast shrank in a circle. The bitter sea at Zhetian is like a bottomless black hole, rotating as if it is about to devour everything. The realm of the bitter sea has once again been elevated. Be good, these are only 2 times. The little girl not only opened up a sea of hardships, but also improved so quickly. The chubby Taoist said and looked at the piled-up wild beasts in front of him, taking a deep breath. He really wanted to know what kind of scene it would be if this little girl absorbed all the power of these wild beasts in front of her, and whether she could directly enter the life spring realm. Little girl, how do you feel? The little girl smiled, her eyes shining brightly. She stretched out her small fist and said happily. The girl seems to have strength now. Chowda nodded repeatedly. Okay, continue with these wild beasts. If you're tired, take a break. The girl is not tired, she can do it. Her words fell and she walked towards another wild beast. This time, she gained experience and tried to put her little hand on the beast's belly. A suction came from the dantian within her body, communicating the source of power and beginning to absorb the power from the demon beast. The little person's body bloomed with a little brilliance, and the wound on her small face had gradually healed. The skin is becoming increasingly crystal clear like jade. The chubby Taoist seemed to have discovered something novel and leaned forward to stare at the little girl. I found that the flesh essence in the corpse of the wild beast on the opposite side was flowing away. And the little girl's physical body is gradually strengthening. Hiss. Curious. The little girl opened her eyes and withdrew her jade-like hands. Her hands were crystal clear as jade, and the injuries on them were already invisible. With a gentle grip, she felt a force she had never experienced before. Immediately after, one wild beast after another was thrown over, and the little girl absorbed it one after another. Pooh, pooh. The wild beasts that have been absorbed by the little girl are so hard that they are unbearable to eat. The chubby Taoist was speechless, but this dog really wanted to take a bite out of everything. Suddenly, there was a wave of spiritual power around, and one person and one dog looked over. Little girl has advanced. Mingquan realm, she advanced from the bitter sea realm to the Mingquan realm. The big black dog is very excited. Wong Wong, I will go hunting wild beasts again, and let the chubby ones join me. Let's see if the little girl can absorb and devour them all the way to the divine bridge realm and the other shore realm. If it's really easy to break through just by absorbing and devouring, then this skill will definitely be unparalleled in history. Isn't it necessary to respect little girls in heaven and earth? End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Enemies of the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Enemies of the World, are you exaggerating yourself a bit? Big Black Dog didn't think his words were exaggerated at all. You see, if the little girl really has a unique skill that can be devoured, there will be some fun then. It's hard to say that like Emperor Wuxia did back then, the whole world would be enemies. Sigh. Wuliang Heavenly Lord, I have always been kind to people. Damn it, if you bite me again, I won't be polite to you. The big black dog let go. No matter how disgusting you are, I'll bite you to death. Don't be fierce, dog. Wong Nan Nan, wait for me to go and catch the wild beast for you. Chao Da looked at the little girl and said a word. The black-hearted dog instantly turned into a licking dog and became speechless. The girl felt that her little fist was full of strength, and she blinked her big eyes, looking at the big black dog with some eagerness to try. Dog, can the girl go with you to catch wild animals? The big black dog tilted its head for a moment and shook its head. Darling, you should first absorb these dozen or so wild beasts here, and then let's go together. Okay. I can definitely do it. The little person tightly grasped those small fists, with a resolute expression on their face. Chao Da watched from the side, instinctively feeling that there was some danger, and he couldn't say exactly what kind of danger it was. But looking at the little girl tirelessly, it seemed as if no amount of strength could be absorbed without bursting. Who even told him that the little girl has an ordinary physique? He definitely wants to dig out their eyes and let them take a good look. The girl tirelessly absorbs the power of one wild beast after another, and the spiritual power in her dantian constantly accumulates. With the continuous increase of these powers in the realm of Mingquan, just as Chao Da was worried, the little girl suddenly opened her eyes. Surrounded by surging spiritual power, and surrounded by abnormal fluctuations of spiritual power, she unexpectedly entered the realm of the divine bridge. Hush! It's so terrifying. The big black dog felt the fluctuation of spiritual energy here and immediately ran back. Wow! I really have entered the realm of the divine bridge. If this continues, wouldn't it be possible to directly reach the other side's realm? In that case, the entire Luanhai secret realm will be completed through cultivation. One person and one dog looked at each other, fearing that they had witnessed something extraordinary. It is indeed the case that as long as one breaks through the current divine bridge realm, reaches the other shore realm, and then breaks through the other shore realm. It is the cultivation of the Tao Palace secret realm. However, is there really a cultivation method that can be practiced continuously in the world? Or is it true that this little girl can continue to cultivate by relying on the power of devouring wild beasts? He felt a bit kicked in his heart. What if he met someone? Mind him, just take a look and you'll know. The big black dog was very excited. He turned around and ran inside again. This used to be a forbidden area in ancient times, and it is said that there is also an elixir inside. But now those no longer exist. Everywhere are wild beasts, and they have become places for the disciples of several Dongtian sects to experience. It was also their good luck that big black dog chose this place and never encountered anyone from other caves or sects who came this way. Entering the realm of the divine bridge, the little girl opened her eyes and emitted a radiance all over her body. Even though she is still wearing that tattered little dress, the shoes on her feet are worn out, revealing her little feet. But she was very happy, with a bright smile on her face. She clenched her small fist and looked before her eyes, feeling so powerful now. Chowda looked at the excited little girl and saw her take out the ghost mask again. Just now, the happy expression on Chowda's face turned dull and sad. After thinking for a while, he finally made a decision. Step forward and pick her up. Girl. Do you feel like you're full of power now? Now you have broken through to the divine bridge realm I mentioned. Really? Fat uncle, was I really good at that time? Can I go save my brother? Chowda lowered his head and watched the little girl hide the ghost mask back in his arms, blinking his big eyes excitedly as he stared at him, waiting for his answer. He doesn't want to deceive a little girl. In the end, I made a decision in my heart. It's just that I was born with this little girl. Don't you remember what I said? Our cultivation is divided into 5 great realms. 1. Luanhai Secret Realm. 2. Daogong Secret Realm. 3. The 4 Extreme Secret Realm. 4. Dragon Transformation Secret Realm. 5. Sendai Secret Realm. And each secret realm is divided into several levels. Now your divine bridge realm is the largest secret realm. Only you have broken through the divine bridge and reached the other shore realm. Can I go find my brother then? Not yet. Looking down at the little girl with a puzzled expression, he looked at him. Chowda continued with a serious expression. Even if you reach the other side and break through it, you will only enter the secret realm of the Tao Palace. That's the hardest start. When we went to the altar before, there was a high-level expert from the later stage of the 4th level secret realm sitting there. If you don't work hard and wait for you to break through the Daogong secret realm before entering the 4 extreme secret realm, everyone will enter the 3rd realm, the Dragon Transformation secret realm. You won't be able to beat him either when the time comes. After listening to Chowda's words, Xiao Nannan held her mouth and tears rolled in her eyes. How difficult. Sniffed his small nose, blinked his big eyes, and looked up at Chowda. Tears swirled in her eyes, and she tried to hold back the tears in her eyes. Blinking his eyes, he firmly clenched his small fist and said with a fierce expression. The girl will definitely work hard to cultivate. Chowda saw that she did not collapse, but instead became even more determined to work hard to cultivate. In my heart, I was secretly amazed. If ordinary children were to be said this way, thinking about the difficult road ahead, they would have given up and cried loudly. The little girl's will was firm, so he continued. Moreover, cultivation is not just about absorbing spiritual power. After absorbing spiritual power for personal use, you still need to have moves, otherwise how can you deal with enemies? Can we just use our fists? You need to use moves to release the spiritual power you have absorbed in order to defeat your opponent. The little girl looked up at him without understanding. Can't we use our fists? The girl feels so powerful. It's also possible. Anyway, as long as you like it, it's good. The techniques you're practicing now are somewhat unique, and you should have come up with them yourself. I have never seen it before, as normal cultivation usually involves techniques, ancient scriptures, and secret techniques. If you want, let's do it this way. When the Black Emperor returns, you can ask him to take you to kill those wild beasts. You will understand what I said, kill the wild beasts. Alright. The girl can definitely do it. Looking at the little girl's firm little face, Chowda sighed and wondered if he wanted to give her a scroll of ancient scriptures directly for her to comprehend. But I'm afraid it might affect her way. The little girl is now able to figure out a way to devour the power of other wild beasts for her own use, and it's hard to say that she can walk out of her own path. If he takes out the ancient scriptures for her to comprehend now, what if it affects her way? Forget it, let's wait for her to enter the secret realm of the Tao Palace before taking out the ancient scriptures for her to comprehend. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Bring Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Bring Life. The Black Emperor heard Chowda's plan on the side and tilted his dog's head for a moment. Feeling that his plan seemed right, he agreed and said, Wang, then I'll take the little girl to hunt wild beasts and let her feel the power of the Black Emperor. The huge dog approached the little girl and crouched down, saying, Let's go, I'll take you to kill the wild beasts. Chowda wanted to give her a sword, but he also wanted to let her feel it first and then give her the weapon later. The little girl excitedly climbed onto the back of the big black dog, grabbed its fur, and was taken by the big black dog to the ancient mountains. That will be her first training ground. When she returned, the little girl looked a bit disheartened, her hair was messy, and her clothes were already very tattered. Now they were even more torn and stained with various bloodstains. The whole little person feels dirty and messy. Hiss. It's like falling into a pile of mud and rolling around, with black and red blood clots added. The once clean little face turned black and red, with only a pair of big eyes left. Looking at Chow, he took a deep breath and couldn't even see it. It is indeed not allowed for dogs to take care of their children. Little girl, how about going out for a walk? The little girl tilted her head, her big eyes flickering and nodding, saying, Fat uncle, those wild beasts are so powerful. But girls will be even more powerful than them. She was not far away from being carried out by the big black dog, so the big black dog first found her a demon beast with the lowest cultivation, equivalent to the realm of the bitter sea. Faced with a demon beast with only the realm of the bitter sea, the little girl is at least a god bridge realm, 2 realms higher than that demon beast. Don't be fooled by the fact that the red leopard beast only has a bitter sea realm, but it looks down on the human cubs in front of it. Watching the human cubs who were not yet as long as its legs, blinking their big eyes, they walked up to it with a face that overcame fear. The red panther lifted its paw, and with just one paw, it wanted to slap the human cub out. Unexpectedly, this little cub had quite a lot of strength and even extended its small arm to block his paw. Just as the red panther lowered its head, thinking that this little cub should be white, tender, and delicious. It wants to devour this human cub in one bite, and it doesn't believe that the power of this cub will be greater than it. Ow! Just as he lowered his head and opened his wide mouth, his sharp teeth were about to bite the delicate and tender body of the little girl. At this moment, even the big black dog couldn't help but want to come out of the darkness. With one paw, the small-eyed red leopard beast flew away, but the thought of exercising the little girl made her hold back. The little girl is still a child of 3 or 4 years old, but her mind is more mature and determined than other children. Especially after experiencing his brother's experience, he became much more mature with persistence in his heart. Faced with such a wild beast that only bites her to death, she naturally resists with all her might. It's just that Chowda is right. She doesn't have any moves, she only knows how to use her fists. However, she did not rely solely on the power of her fists, but rather learned to mobilize the spiritual power in her body to concentrate on her fists. With a punch towards the chin of the red leopard beast, with a bang, the red leopard beast in the realm of the life wheel was indeed vulnerable to a single blow in front of the cultivator in the divine bridge realm. Even if the cultivator is only a human cub. The little person looked up and opened their mouth wide to see the huge body of the red leopard beast fly into the sky before falling. With a bang, it hit the ground, but the red leopard beast was not dead yet. The little girl went up and reached out to place her hand on the red leopard beast. Big Black Dog thought she was a little girl with a flood of sympathy. Hurry up and run over, but when he ran over, he found that the red panther beast had already been infused with vitality and spiritual power. The Black Emperor widened his dog's eyes. I thought you would sympathize with this red leopard beast. The little girl tilted her head to look at him and shook her head. It wants to eat girls, girls won't sympathize with it. Listening to the little girl say that, Big Black Dog is happy. Let's go and find other prey. Then the little girl really only used her hands. Her hand, which was wearing a bronze ring, clenched into a small fist. When she saw those wild beasts wanting to eat her, she punched them to the bone and beat them up. When the wild beasts are powerless to resist, then suck away their spiritual power. Little girl, don't you try using a dagger. It was this sentence that reminded the little girl that after using the dagger, it was like blood splattering everywhere and animal blood spreading wildly. Originally, it was just dirty clothes and dirty face, but the Black Emperor led the little girl all the way towards the interior of the desolate mountain range. I finally met a monster with cultivation equivalent to the other side realm, and it's easy to say that I'm on par with the little girl. But the little girl is only in the realm of the divine spring. When facing the demon beast in the other side realm with a cultivation level higher than her, she was knocked out by the other side. The little girl ran into her opponent for the first time and got up and charged up to continue fighting. Then she realized that when she punched the opponent, she could easily absorb their spiritual power. So she advanced to the other shore realm in the battle. The Big Black Dog was stunned. This is really good. Then, won't we be able to challenge the second highest realm, the Tao Palace realm? This is just, how long has it been used? A month. Not only the Big Black Dog, but also Chowda standing in front of them was stunned. In just 1 month, activate the life wheel from the Dantian, open up the sea of suffering, and cultivate the life spring. Now, this has reached the other shore. Infinite Heavenly Sovereign. I've seen you for a long time, Lao Dao. Just as he was holding the little girl and telling the story of the 5 internal organs that needed to be cultivated to enter the secret realm of the Tao Palace, the divine treasure of the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys, a cultivator passed by them. The cultivator flew over their heads with the rainbow light, and after a moment, he returned with the rainbow light. I looked at them one by one, and one little one, dirty all over, with messy hair and no visible appearance on their faces. Even the exposed toes of the torn shoes are dirty. But he won't admit it. Wrong, these 3 people are the ones who broke through the altar. And that damn black dog, his arm was bitten by the dog and he's not healed yet. It's you, I finally found you. Take your life. Chowda and his companions clearly recognized the cultivator in front of them, who was the young man from the Feather Transformation God dynasty who had planned to kick the little girl to death before. The young man rushed down as he spoke, with a ray of light in his hand, and a long sword in the glow swung towards the Big Black Dog. The Big Black Dog rushed forward with a barking sound, and with one paw, it knocked his long sword away. At this moment, Chowda took the opportunity to teach the little girl how to fly, gathering spiritual power in her body on her feet to condense spiritual power. Due to the different refractions of light in the sky during flight, it is called a rainbow light. The little girl is exceptionally intelligent. After receiving guidance, she tried and learned it. Whoosh! In an instant, he flew towards the young man, his small fist mercilessly greeting him. It's the brother they captured, she wants to kill this bad guy. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Fears that the world will not be chaotic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 fears that the world will not be chaotic. The young man didn't even consider the little girl in front of him. At this moment, I was surprised to see that the little girl could soar into the air. Looking at her cultivation level, she was even more shocked in her heart. It's only been over a month since I last saw her, but she has opened up a sea of suffering from an ordinary person. Even if one cultivates, it should still be in the realm of the bitter sea. How can one directly reach the other shore realm? Even if his cultivation is only worthy of the other side realm. This cognition inevitably surprises young people. At present, the light of the bitter sea blooms, and a golden small seal rises in the wind. Flipping the mountain seal, be careful, girl. Bang! As soon as Chowda finished speaking, the big black dog planned to go and help, but was hugged by Chowda's neck. Before he could speak, he heard a loud bang, and the golden mountain imprint was knocked out by the little girl and her little fist flew out. Hush! How could it be so strong? Wang! The girl is so amazing. The young man across from her was also dumbfounded. Surprisingly, his mountain crossing mark was knocked away by her with her fist. This is impossible, absolutely impossible. It's just a month. The little girl he checked was absolutely ordinary. How could this be? Is this the power of the dragon elephant? It is said that only the former Emperor Yi had the ancient holy body and was born with the power of a dragon elephant. What's going on with her? Before he could react, the little girl rushed over and punched her in the opponent's bitter sea. This is what Big Black Dog taught her. If she wants to attack those wild beasts, she will find their most deadly weaknesses and hit them with just one strike. In the eyes of the little girl, a cultivator's elixir field is the most fatal weakness. As long as their elixir field is broken, they are no longer cultivators and cannot use their divine powers. The young man lowered his head and watched as the little girl punched his dantian. He was stunned for a moment and was about to slap the messy head of the little girl. If this palm falls, the little girl will undoubtedly die. But before his palm fell, he was knocked out by the little girl. The young man's face was shocked, and his eyes widened in shock. It was impossible for most of his divine power in the dantian to disappear. He, who had already reached the other side of the world, had his divine power dropped to the realm of the spring of life. He is the spring of life in the sea of suffering, and the divine power source that originally gushed out shows signs of thirst. This situation is unheard of. A 3-year-old girl came chasing after her in a small ball. The young man was greatly frightened and got up, turned around, and ran away. Speaking of which, I don't know if he deserves to die or not, but right in front of him, there were several feather transformation divine dynasty cultivators who were training together here. Those cultivators are all from the divine bridge or the other side realm, obviously they also know this young man. Lin Yen, have you encountered any powerful ancient ferocious beasts? Someone is asking about it. Some people also sneer at the corners of their lips. You look so panicked and desperate, like a lost dog. Lin Yen was frightened in his heart and looked at the chasing little girl, saying to them. You help me kill this little girl. She's a bit strange. A month ago, she was still a mortal, and a month later, she's already in the realm of the divine bridge. Impossible. Even the proud sons of various holy places and aristocratic families cannot cultivate to the realm of the divine bridge in a month. Not to mention those arrogant people, even the saints of Yao Qi and others cannot take a month. Before he could finish speaking, he saw the little girl chasing towards him and saw that her cultivation was truly in the realm of the divine bridge. Surprisingly, it is truly the realm of the divine bridge. Everyone saw the 3-year-old girl, riding the rainbow light and chasing after her in the sky. Lin Yen, are you sure she was just an ordinary person a month ago? At this moment, Lin Yen recovered and his cultivation level did indeed drop to 2 levels, directly reaching the divine spring realm. Evil sect. It's too evil. My cultivation has unexpectedly fallen to the realm of life spring suddenly, he reacted and pointed at the rushing little girl, be careful, the little girl can devour others' divine power. However, others simply did not believe his words. How could there be such a cultivation method? That's right, I haven't heard of such a cultivation technique in the entire southern wilderness. If it really exists, then wouldn't it go against the heavens? Just as the words of the cultivator from the feathered god dynasty fell, a small figure quickly rushed towards him. She had no weapons in her hands, so she raised her small fists and charged towards the young man, ignoring the people who came up to intercept her. The two divine bridge realms were knocked out by her as soon as they approached. I don't know if it's because she previously absorbed the power of wild beasts, so she also absorbed the power of those wild beasts. Nowadays, the little girl's strength is surprisingly strong. Go straight to Lin Yan and punch him again. Someone offered Yunyang a spiritual flying sword and chopped it at her. She seemed to feel it, lifting her left hand and holding the bronze dagger given to him by Chowda. When? With a sound, the bronze dagger collided with the man's long sword and surprisingly took it without any damage. At the same time, Lin Yan, who was trampled on the ground by him, instantly exhausted his divine power in his body, and the bitter seed dried up, leaving his entire life opportunity completely lost. The little person was sucking on their mouth, their tattered clothes revealing their small, thin arms. These few people now believe that the little girl Lin Yan mentioned is indeed strange. He stepped on Lin Yan's body, and the vitality and divine power path on Lin Yan's body were quickly drained. Now he has become a dead person. After blocking the sword, the girl's little fist rudely headed towards the person holding the sword. Another punch hit the person's dantian, who made her small and the most comfortable to hit there. The person immediately sensed a terrifying devouring force. Like a black hole in the starry sky, capable of devouring all things, he wanted to wield his sword and strike again after being surprised. I was surprised to find that he was completely devoid of mystery, even the bitter sea had dried up. Fly out with a slap from the little girl. The people who originally wanted to watch were all panicked now, and the four of them rushed towards the little girl together. She's just too young. His body is exceptionally agile and he has great strength. Be careful, everyone. This little girl can absorb our divine power when facing enemies. I have already sent the message back, and I believe someone will come to rescue us soon. Chowda let out a terrible cry. If the story of the little girl goes back, then the fact that the little girl can devour someone else's divine power may be too much to cover. At that time, the people of the feathered god dynasty will definitely make every effort to pursue and kill her. What are you afraid of? Anyway, you have already formed a grudge and don't care about these few people. If they really send people to chase and kill the little girl again, it would be even better if they were to train the little girl. It's best to have a few more people with special constitutions. If even a little girl can swallow them, it will definitely have an invincible rhythm in the world. The big black dog, who was afraid that the world would not be chaotic, rolled his eyes. In this way, it will be difficult for the little girl to walk. What are you afraid of? Embarking on the path of cultivation is to compete with heaven, life, and people. End of this chapter. How was the previous one in chapter 9? You are listening at novelfull.audio. How was the previous one in chapter 9? You dead dog is really fearless, even afraid that the world won't be chaotic, right? Chowda angrily threw the head of the big black dog aside, and the big black dog let out a woof. You stinky Taoist, what kind of person are you pretending to be? You can still take advantage of the situation to fish. Infinite heavenly sovereign. Look at the little girl, I'll go give her the ancient scriptures to comprehend. After he finished reciting the signal, he turned around and left. The big black dog looked at him and then at the little girl. The dog's head shook and didn't care about him, but went towards the little girl. The little person was not afraid of killing someone for the first time, watching the 5 people she had killed on the ground. The big black dog wagged its tail and approached the little girl. Little girl, this is your first time killing someone. Are you afraid or not? Without any hesitation, the little girl's answer to the Black Emperor was, not afraid. Wang. The girl is really amazing. The little girl who was praised smiled and looked behind the big black dog, tilting her small head and asking. Where's Uncle Fat? He went to find the ancient scriptures for you. Don't worry about him, quickly take away all the good things from these people. Next, let's go to the wild mountains and continue killing wild beasts. He reminded the little girl to put away her spoils of war. Among these feathered cultivators of the divine dynasty, only the cultivator named Lin Yen has a very small qiankun bag on his body, which is only 1 square meter in size and can hold very little inside. The big black dog taught her how to use it, and she put the bronze dagger inside, as well as the jade jar she had obtained from the tomb of the cultivator in the Feather God dynasty before. Wang, why didn't you put your mask inside? The little girl looked at the mask in her hand and shook her head. The masked girl needs to wear it close to her body. Big black dog, do you have a brother? The Black Emperor tilted his dog head to look at the little girl in front of him and shook his head. I guess so. That person is the only one who deserves to be the eldest brother of the Emperor. It seems there is still one, but unfortunately, they all died. Oh, I believe my brother won't die. I must quickly become stronger. The Black Emperor wanted to say something, but he opened his mouth and closed it again. A 3-year-old girl and a big black dog larger than the little girl headed towards the desolate mountains together. Just before they had gone far, the voice of an old man came from behind. Who killed my disciple of the Feather Brush God dynasty? The little girl and the big black dog exchanged a glance, while the big black dog always looked at the newcomer. The powerhouse of the Daogong secret realm came so quickly. The old man set his gaze on each person and dog. His gaze skipped the little girl and turned directly to the big black dog. He couldn't see through the cultivation of the big black dog. Suddenly, he turned his gaze to the little doll beside him. Divine Bridge Realm. How could it be possible? The old man was extremely surprised, and behind him came another person. Why haven't you started yet? Just now I received the message from them that this little girl killed them. The old man was startled at the words and looked at the little girl. Surprisingly, it's really her. But her age is also too young, isn't it? It should be Lin Yen and his team who have taken a wrong look. No matter how much, let's take it back and study it first. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, the old man moved and directly reached out to grab the little girl. The big black dog was about to run with the little girl, but when it turned around, it saw the little girl charging up. What a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers. These two are a great level higher than her. The big black dog quickly rushed forward, and the little girl punched the old man's fist. Hiss. The old man is full of confidence. He is a powerful Taoist in the secret realm of the palace. Can't he even kill a little girl? Unfortunately, this little girl didn't know what to do and dared to confront him. Bang! The big black dog roared and rushed forward, only to see the old man and the little girl's fists facing each other in the next moment. Surprisingly, the little girl was not beaten away. Did the essence and blood of those wild beasts also strengthen the little girl's body? The old man suddenly widened his eyes. Quickly, I withdrew my hand. Looking at the little one in front of him with an imported one, he turned to the middle-aged man and said. Kill her quickly. She actually sucked my divine power. The middle-aged man's eyes turned cold and he raised his hand to hit the little girl as well. The dog's sharp eyes saw the little girl's hand hanging on the side of the old man just now. With a woof sound, little girl, what's wrong with your arm? Hold your mouth, tears flickering in your big eyes. The girl's arm can't move anymore. Upon hearing this, the Black Emperor immediately stepped forward and slapped the middle-aged man rushing towards him with his paw. He slapped the middle-aged man with one paw and flew backwards 10 meters away. Arrive in front of the little girl to check. It's okay, it's just a dislocation. I'll help you pick it up. The big black dog spoke and bit the little girl's arm with its mouth open. Push her arm and it will connect the little girl's arm. Does it hurt or not? The little girl shook her head and said with a determined expression. No pain, girl doesn't hurt, girl needs to gradually become stronger. Big dogs, aren't they very powerful? Yes, they have crossed the divine bridge realm and arrived at the secret realm of the Tao Palace. The cultivation of the 5 internal organs in the secret realm of the Tao Palace is called the hidden spirit of the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. You haven't broken through the realm of the Tao Palace yet. Let's not fight against them. Let's leave first. Oh, I got it. Their conversation was heard by the middle-aged cultivator behind them. Listening to them talking about leaving as if there was no one around, their anger burned in their hearts. Do they consider him dead? Today, neither of you, one dog, can think of leaving. Dear middle-aged experts in the secret realm of the Taoist Palace, you know that the physical strength of the little girl may be very strong. He didn't confront her either, but instead offered his own Tao Palace realm weapon, and a flying sword transformed into a feather flew towards the little girl. Wang. What's the ability to bully a little doll when you have the ability to fight my Black Emperor? Humph. Let me come and have a fight with your dog, and I'll give you some dog meat. The old man headed towards the Black Emperor. Just as the Black Emperor was blocking the attack on the girl, the old man came out to restrain it. The Black Emperor is afraid that the little girl will be injured, so he plans to fight quickly and make a quick decision. The little girl was knocked upside down this time. The middle-aged cultivator sneered and saw the little girl being knocked off the ground by her. The clothes on the body were even more tattered and dilapidated. Before the little girl could get up, the middle-aged man had already flown over and stepped on the girl's body. He stepped on the newly risen child with one foot. I thought it was so powerful, but that's all. The big black dog and little girl were trampled underfoot again. Thinking of being in Yendu at that time, the little girl was also trampled underfoot. When he saw this scene, his heart twitched. Now it's here again, and the big black dog's heart is starting to beat again. What's going on? Strange. Wang. Do you know what happened to the person who stepped on her last time? The middle-aged monk sneered indifferently and asked casually. Oh, how's it going? End of this chapter. Chapter 10, Don't Come Over Here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10, Don't Come Over Here, dead through. The middle-aged man sneered at Big Black Dog's words. Suddenly, his face changed drastically and his spiritual power was quickly drained away. He was so shocked that his eyes widened. How could this be? He has already reached the first level of the palace secret realm, the realm of the heart god's hidden realm. The little girl he is stepping on is really absorbing the divine power in his body. If he found something wrong, he would take his foot back, but the little girl held onto his leg and didn't let go. Let go. The girl was a small ball, holding onto his legs without any intention of letting go. The middle-aged cultivator raised his hand and swung towards the little girl's celestial cover. The girl sensed the danger and raised her little fist to block it. Bang! The monk's palm, like a palm fan, collided with the little girl's fist, which is only as big as Xiaolongbao. The imagined crushing did not happen, because the cultivator's cultivation was directly sucked down to the other side of the realm. And the little girl is also in the other realm, absorbing so much of his spiritual power. So when facing him, we don't fall behind at all, we continue to absorb his spiritual power and devour his physique. The cultivator is now standing on one leg with a frightened expression, while the other leg is trembling and lying on a small step on his leg. Let go of you, let go of me. Do you know who I am? You can even devour my physique. My physique is second only to the feathered king's body, the Qingyu Hongmeng body. You, please release me quickly, otherwise I won't let you go soon. Who is the person that little girls hate the most? That would naturally be a cultivator from the feathered god dynasty. Unfortunately, this cultivator also has a feathered king body, a feathered god, and a small person like a fierce little lion. Holding on to the leg of the middle-aged cultivator without letting go. She doesn't know anything too old-fashioned. Instinctively devouring all the strength and physique of the opponent with the illusion of a space vortex within the bitter sea of Zhetian. Biting on the monk's leg with one bite, 2 rows of small white teeth were fiercely biting. She hates it. She hates all the cultivators of the feathered god dynasty. They have taken away her brother, and she wants to bite them to death. The middle-aged monk trembled at the leg bitten by the little girl, his face turning pale. No matter how he punches the little girl on the back, she just bites him and lets go. He could clearly feel that his physique was pulling away from his body. No, how could this be possible? How could there be such a cultivation method? But he became increasingly weak, and the strength he exerted on the little girl was not as good as tickling her. The big black dog was watching from the side, and its eyes were also wide open in surprise. The middle-aged cultivator finally struggled weakly and collapsed with a loud bang, his eyes wide open and unable to close their eyes. One man, let go. He's already dead. The big black dog was paying attention to the situation on the little girl's side, giving the old man a chance to run away. The old man ran and sent back messages. He wants to tell Elder Su that Suan has been killed, and even his Qingyu Hongmeng body has been taken away by the other party. It's too scary, it's really too scary. How could there be a cultivation method in this world that can devour someone else's physique? The big black dog chased after the old monk behind him and spat out a golden bell. The bell rang only twice and shook the old monk flying with the rainbow, causing him to fall from the sky. With a loud bang, the Black Emperor's massive body followed closely behind and stepped over the old monk's body. That cultivator is completely dead this time. The big black dog ran back to the little girl and circled around her. Seeing her meditating and practicing, he also lay on the side waiting for her. Not long after, the little girl opened her eyes, and in her large obsidian-like eyes, a little star light flashed through. Turning his head to look at the big black dog, he said. Big dog, let's continue hunting wild animals. Girls need to become strong, they need to become very strong. The big black dog looked at her Dantian bitter sea, black holes, as if trying to devour a person. Scared, he quickly withdrew his divine consciousness. Okay. Then let's continue hunting wild beasts. It's just that there will be many strong players coming to this place in the future. You can't handle it then, you have to promise me to avoid its sharpness first and not resist it forcefully. Okay. The girl knows that she is small and weak now, so she cannot confront those strong people head on. She needs to find a way to become stronger. So she can't die, she can only become stronger and stronger. If she dies, no one will go to save her brother. I clenched my small fist and turned my head to look at the ancient mountain range. The monster in the ancient mountains trembled and only wanted to roar. Don't come over here. However, they still couldn't stop the little girl from flipping over and riding on the back of the big black dog. The big black dog ran at lightning speed, heading towards the ancient mountain range. Su Zhang, who was practicing in the bamboo forest, opened his eyes in a blessed cave of the feathered god dynasty. He eventually received the message from the old man. Fool. This fool can't even transmit a message clearly. Who exactly killed my nephew Suan? Someone. As his words fell, a young man immediately stepped forward. What do the elders have to give orders for? Su Zhang, with a hooked nose, glanced at the young man in front of him and said. Sun Lu, you go on a trip to the desolate mountains. I received a message that Suan fell in the desolate mountains. Go check if it's true. Yes. That cultivator is also an expert in the secret realm of the Dao Palace. Just as Sun Lu turned around and left, Su Zhang behind him gave a warning. Send me any news immediately. Don't worry, elder. I will definitely find junior brother Suan. He knew that junior brother Suan had a special physique, so he received much attention. This time he went out for training, the elder even asked himself to find him. Did something unexpected happen? Although there are high-level wild beasts in the ancient mountains, they should not provoke those high-level wild beasts. The little girl and the big black dog were walking in the desolate mountains, and those low-level wild beasts were no longer seen by them. Now they specialize in fighting against the wild beasts in the secret realm of the Taoist palace. No, it should be called abuse. As a little girl who has not yet reached the cultivation level of the Tao Palace secret realm, she should only be able to deal with the wild beasts in the other side of the Luanhai secret realm. But unfortunately, there was an unreasonable big black dog behind her, specifically leading the little girl to challenge the wild beasts in various realms of the Daogong secret realm. Those wild beasts are all suffering in their hearts. They hesitated at the beginning, whether to kill or not to kill. After all, there is only a small human cub in front of me. After handing it over, they found that this small human cub was also very powerful. If they don't die, they will be absorbed with spiritual power by the little cubs. If you die, that big black dog will come up and down and die. Together, they cannot escape the fate of being bitten to death. Since everything is dead, when the wild beasts in the realm of the Tao Palace confront this human cub again, they are not polite at all. New book, everyone pay more attention and vote for it. Don't miss it if you pass by. Red Lotus is here to thank all the handsome guys and beautiful women. End of this chapter.